My dad keeps telling me I am going to die. Some backstory that might be needed. I, 21F, and my dad, 61 Mem, have had quite the relationship growing up, or lack thereof. He is very controlling and always has been. I am moved out of the house and for 3+ years now. He is very smart and very wealthy. He is a businessman at its finest and has many amazing companies. With that came a lot of lectures and controlling aspects in my childhood. If I did not do what he wanted, he would tell me I am not smart, I am not obstinate, and just always related things to when I grow to be an adult, I should be exactly like him. If I did not do something his way or disagreed with his opinion, he would lose his mind and completely belittle me. If after hours of him degrading me and giving me advice, I tried to step away, he would call me completely dismissive and unintellectual or unintelligent. There were many police-called moments between us and his controlling nature, and I am glad to be moved out and finally make a boundary on when and what I want advice, a lecture about. Despite everything, I still love him and know he wants the best for me, but his authoritativeness has been abusive, even after years of therapy together. After all our efforts to mend our relationship, he still believes he is not controlling. He has always held his finances above my head growing up, like college tuition or my car, and now that I almost fully support myself, only thing he pays for is insurance costs from his job. He still tries to give me lectures over the phone, which is why I was not ecstatic to call him regarding my asthma a few nights ago. I have been allergic to cats my whole life, and had a cat when I was born for about a year before it passed. My parents had no idea, and turns out after an ER trip a week within being brought home, born, they found out I was highly asthmatic. Growing up, I only had asthma flare-ups when I was sick, doing a crazy cardio workout, rare, or slept over at a friend's house who owned cats. Bizarre enough, my best friend at the time actually had 2 cats, and I never had an issue at her home. My other friend had 2 cats, and I could not sleep over at her house at all because I would get so congested. My 3 other roommates and I decided that we really wanted to get a cat a few months ago despite my allergy. I am the biggest animal lover ever and always miss by dogs at home, away from my college town. I always wanted a pet of my own, and so did my roommates. We live in a duplex home that's 3 stories, so we thought it might be feasible to get a kitty if we restricted him from going up to my room, the top floor. We ended up doing a bunch of research and adopted him about 3 weeks ago. I have been fine with daily allergy meds and my albuterol inhaler. I decided to also look into getting the allergy shots I did some research on and went and got an allergy test from an allergist. It ended up being yesterday morning. The doctor said she was more concerned about my lungs, so we should not do a skin allergy test right now, because the albuterol inhaler and albuterol nebulizer are not long-term solutions to asthma, especially being that I will likely have my cat for the next decade. She prescribed me the following: fluticasone prop 50 mcg spray 50 mcg, 16 grams 50 mcg, prednisone 20 mg tablet, 20 mg, 8 tablets 20 mg, fluticasone salmeterol 250 50 mcg, 60 blister with inhalation device 250 mcg, and told me to see her back in 2 weeks for a follow-up to discuss long-term asthma treatment. She never once said or asked me if it was feasible to remove my cat from my home or get rid of him. Matter of fact, she even said, once I told her I was only doing albuterol inhalers, nebulizers, that she was looking forward to helping me find a long-term solution to living with my cat. When I spoke to my dad on the phone later that day, he was furious with me. He told me that I am going to die if I continue to keep this cat, and he is not worth risking my life. He told me, "At your funeral, people will ask me why I did not prevent your death, and I will say I tried my best, but she was not intelligent enough to listen to me." He went on with his lectures about how smart people seek advice from other adults, and foreshadowed basically how disappointed he was in me for not taking his advice. He mentioned my grandfather, his father, and how he tried his best to make him get the COVID vaccine, and after my grandpa refused, he passed. Although this reason for death was labeled COVID, my family often discusses how it was underlying conditions. My grandfather was 89. He related my asthma cat situation to this and said that my grandfather basically died because he did not take my dad's advice. Nevertheless, during our call, my dad kept saying I am going to die because of my cat, and it is not worth the risk of death to keep my cat.